This is literal and technical. Laws should be literal and technical. So if an adult can go and spread their wild oats everywhere, right? With no convictions, and these are the same people that get married. I'm showing you that in marriage, with an adult marriage, how we don't have to be married with those adult ages to be married. We don't have to be married to have sex legally, because the ages, we don't get convicted legally. We can, based on the same ages of adults that get married, they can come out and get, those same ages can have sex outside of marriage, legally, right? Legally speaking. How come children that can be married can't have sex with adults outside of the marriage legally? They can get married and have sex with the person. How come they can't come out here and have sex legally? You call it statutory rape. But adults don't have to be in marriage. They can come out and there is no statutory rape. But they are, and they're allowed to get married. So children are allowed to get married, which is steady, prolonged sex. They can do that. But they can't come out of the marriage because it's statutory rape. So what is it in the marriage? In essence, we're talking about the essence. Is the definition the same? Is the definition the same? Yes or no? Is the definition the same? Yes or no? Because if you're basing it on age, that same age is in a child marriage. So why would you allow it to be called statutory rape over here, but then let them get married? Oh boy, that's a 7th hour. So it's statutory rape, but you're letting them get married. Wouldn't that be worse that who you would consider the ages to be statutory raped, you would let them go ahead and get married? Oh yeah, you know, nobody shouldn't be having sex with you. That's statutory rape, but we're gonna let you get married. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but isn't a marriage consistent sex? Isn't a marriage weekly, daily sex? So if you had a problem with that certain age of child having sex, what you think a marriage gonna be? That's gonna be sex all the time. And it's gonna be a sexual get off all the time with them laying around with the child. Now you see what I'm saying. And if you don't think there's no real cases, let's talk about the 3 little girls down in Tennessee. 3 10-year-old girls were put in a child marriage here in America. 3 10-year-old girls. Now we agree that's a statutory rape charge according to them, right? So why they allowed to get married then? Why they allow 3 10-year-old girls to get married? So guess what that means? Statutory rape ain't even a real law based on your own system. It's not, because you got 3, you can't define it by essence. Murder can be defined by essence. What is murder? Murder is a premeditated killing. That's what it is, right? That's what it is. Okay, so you don't have the luxury of redefining murder 3 different times, do you? In essence, it's one thing, right? It's a premeditated killing. That's what murder is, right? So you can't redefine this in a legal system in 3 different states, right? And have a legal system, right? Because someone else can go somewhere else and murder somebody, and they'll say, well, that's not murder. That's not murder here in New York. Or it might be murder down in Florida, but that's not murder. It has to be defined as one essence and one thing in one legal system for the people to agree and move culturally in the same direction. So if you had, let's say if you had murder down in Florida, They said, well, that's stand your ground law right there. That ain't murder. He stood his ground and he killed that guy. But see, in New York, y'all say, oh, well, I'm switching around. In New York, you say, well, that's murder. In Florida say, nah, by essence, he stood his ground. So then do you really have a legal system? So how many governments do you have? Because in other countries, they don't have this flipping around circus stuff going on. There's one essence of what is right and wrong. There's one essence of definitions. The truth of the matter is, many of you cannot decide to make the conscious decision not to have sex as adults with children altogether. That's the problem. The problem is, some of y'all still want to fool around with kids. That's the real problem. And this makes, to me, statutory rape invalid. It's invalid. The universal code, let me tell you what the universal message should be. The universal law should be. This is the nationwide universal global law. Adults with adults. Children with children. If you are under 18 and people are acting like you molested some kids, no, you were a child yourself, right? Boom. That's the perfect law. Children will be children. Children will mess